How is it that the Jews could have existed 3,500 years through pogroms, through the 67 war, through the 1973 war? Let me ask you a question. You guys familiar with the Yom Kippur War?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's an actual story that happened. We all know that more Jews were killed during that war than any other war. It was extremely dangerous. And they interviewed one of the generals that was coming in from the other side, one of the Egyptians. And they said, what happened? He goes, well, it was a surprise attack. No one was there. And after an hour and a half, we didn't see there was anyone there. We suddenly get a call to stop. So we said, why? They go, it's a trap. The Jews are all hiding. An hour and a half goes by. They're waiting, and says, all right, green light, go in. During this hour and a half, the Jews were alerted that there was incoming. All the Jews left shul. We still lost thousands of people. But at the end of the day, if there was not a pause, the Jews would have been, there would have been massacres, and God forbid, we don't even know what could have happened. But here's something that you guys don't know. Why did the guy stop for an hour and a half? He said, I stopped because I thought it was a surprise that they were trying to trick us because there was no one there. But it was a surprise attack. If it's a surprise attack, there isn't supposed to be anyone there. That's the point. It's like going in to break into a safe and like, well, there's nobody here. I better just wait. I don't know where they are. Well, of course there's nobody there because, ridiculous. Why? Hashem. This is how God operates. He's hidden. I'll give you another one. I'll give you another one. Look at a spider. You ever see a spider spin a web? How does the spider get across the web?
Gravity.
Well, wait a minute. How can he walk across? How can he walk across the web if all the insects that he created that for to catch cannot move across it?
All the strings are sticky.
No,
But that's not true.
The thing, the spider is coated in a special oil which allows him.
The spider's legs and feet. He's
Not
going to
only-
own a big Fortune 500 company, guys. Be nice to him. So the fact of the matter is that God created the spider, that his hands and his feet, it secretes an oily substance that allows it to glide across. Here's another thing. You ever sit in a bathtub too long or sit in a pool too long and your fingers get pruny? Does anyone know how that happens?
Yeah, because the water, the moisture leaves your skin.
No, but what would be the ultimate purpose of that? We know what happens scientifically.
You get a grip underwater.
You got it, pal.
Yeah.
So that you can grip underwater.
Makes sense.
Who's doing this? Let me ask you a question. The human body. The human body. It houses how many different kinds of liquids? You have liquids for your eyes. You have liquids to clear your body.
Most people are 70% water.
Reproductive liquids. Blood. Phlegm. Blood. Earwax. Pus.
Pus isn't a liquid. Wax isn't a liquid.
Pus and phlegm are a liquid. I don't know how you blow your nose. I have it in liquid form. I don't know. So anyway, the point of the matter is, guys, if you look to see God, you will see Him. Take a look at an apple. You have an apple. Rabbi Avigdor Miller spoke about this. It's basic. You have an apple. God could have made it any color. He made it green. He made yellow ones. He made red ones. Beautiful apple. And He made it taste delicious. The thing about this apple is it's completely coated and nothing can happen to it. But the second that you take a bite into it, what happens? It starts turning brown within an hour or two. You don't even want to look at it anymore. But wait a minute. It was layered and completely intact, and the layer itself happens to be the healthiest part of the apple. These are all manifestations of God's goodness. And what does He do to take it to the next level? He puts other seeds inside of that single apple that it's not just one apple that it's going to replace, but multiple seeds, which within 10 years could yield hundreds and thousands of apples, could literally give jobs to people. This is the kindness of God. But if you don't want to see God, well, it's just nature. Yeah, I don't know, I was just walking by here. A friend of mine was at a gym 2 years ago. His name is Josh. He's a very nice guy. And he tripped and he banged his head. No big deal. He's fine. 3 weeks later, he goes to the doctor. He's talking to him. And the doctor sees that he has just a little Band-Aid there. He said, what happened? He's like, a couple of weeks ago I tripped. He's like, really? Did you have an x-ray? He's like, I'm completely fine. No, I'm here for blood work. He goes, well, did you just have... He has an x-ray. They find a brain tumor. It had nothing to do with him falling. They removed the brain tumor. He's fine. But the fact is that when that happened at the time, he had no idea. God can't sit there and go, brain tumor. He cannot do that. So how does God remain hidden like we spoke about at the beginning? So that we can have free will, so that we can choose whether we're going to do good or bad? By hiding. By creating this nature, so to speak. How could we have won the 6-Day War? Have you guys ever seen a map of Israel? It's ridiculous. We are surrounded by 50-1 against us. They all want to kill us. They're all united. They all hate each other, but they all hate us. That for sure, there's no problem. They all agree on that, and we're still here. How could this be? That's why Albert Einstein said that. You got to look at what he said and who it is that said it. You're dealing with a brain here, not a regular person. Let's take a look at 9/11. Guy was traveling from San Francisco, and his tefillin he left in the sitting area before you board the plane. And as soon as the plane pulls away from the gate, by law you're not allowed. And he's making a commotion. The lady pulled back the stewardess, and they said, "Get off the plane, but since you're getting off, you cannot re-embark." He was upset, but he said, "You know what? I'm not leaving my tefillin." That plane, 9/11. Don't misconstrue. I'm not therefore saying, oh, well, if you don't wear, oh, what about people that wear tefillin? No, we're not saying that. The point of the story is that at the time, he was sitting there going, I can't believe this. I'm trying to do the right thing, and now I'm missing my flight. I'm going to be late for work. Right, God saved your life. So at the time, you didn't realize it, but only after the fact. That's why God says, no man can see my face and live. And then Chazal tells us, what does that mean? That he was really saying, why do bad things happen to people? Why do the righteous suffer and the evil prosper? Why do the righteous suffer and the evil prosper? Why is that? And the answer is because right now in the present, we can't understand it. But in hindsight, after the fact, and I promise you, in your lives, if you look back on certain things that have happened to you and you're young, so when you get older, you're going to have even more memories, and you'll be like, you know, I never considered that. I never thought about that. You're going to think about different people that are in your lives that maybe when you were younger, you didn't realize why that person just showed up at that time, or that person disappeared and then they were replaced by a different person. All these things happen to you, but again, you're not going to have God walk over to you and say, hey, what's going on? I know you're lonely. So no, it's going to happen in a way that everything just seems natural. If you look at the story of the Megillah, the entire Megillah, there's no mention of God in the Megillah. Yet we clearly know that this lunatic who wanted to kill all the Jews, who ended up marrying a Jewish woman, who ended up killing the guy who told her that he would kill all the Jews, every single thing that you would think he would do, he didn't even know what he was doing. And to this day, people still really don't know how to quantify Achashverosh. Is he an evil Russia? Is he a stupid man? Was he both? I personally think he has issues. But anyway, that's my opinion about him. I want to tell you something else that I read that was very interesting to me. My mother-in-law works at a mikvah. That's a place where women go to become spiritually cleansed. And one day she sees two women that come there, young ladies, and a mother. And they're very modern, probably not Orthodox, and no one says anything, but basically one of the girls goes in, and the mother says, you're looking at me, you're surprised to see someone like me taking my daughters to the mikveh. She's like, yeah, but I didn't want to say anything, I'm not judging, but so let me tell you a story. 35 years ago, I was in the Holocaust, and they killed I had twin daughters, beautiful twin daughters. And after the Holocaust, I escaped with my husband. We're running through the woods, and we hadn't been with each other intimately in at least 7 or 8 months. And finally, when the war was over and we were able to get together, I said, God, I kept the laws of purity. I kept you at heart the entire time. I'm only asking, please, if you could create a miracle of some sort to give me my daughters back. Whatever you could do. And the girls that were going to the mikveh, it was their wedding, those were the twin daughters that were born to that lady. That really happened. That's not above my son. Another story, Rabbi Grunblatt writes very good, Yosef Weiss rather, he writes very good stories that are substantiated. He checks to find out the veracity of the story. I'm going to end with this very quick story. Mr. Azar was traveling, he was a salesman, he sold curtain rods and stuff like that, drapery for hotels. He went to see a buyer, and unfortunately he was in the south in Memphis, near Memphis, and he had to finish up for Shabbos because there was a small kosher hotel that he used to go to, because he was away from home, he could have his kosher meals. This guy kept on pushing off the meeting. He's like, if I don't get this meeting, meanwhile the guy brings him so late. He gets to the hotel, they go, I'm sorry, you didn't get here in time, we didn't make a reservation for you, you can't stay here, there's no kosher food for Shabbos. He's like, are you kidding me? So he goes across the street and he says, if I can't stay in this dive, I'm going to stay in this nice hotel. I may not have a great meal, but at least I'll be comfortable in this hotel. So he goes to the hotel, he gets upstairs, he goes to the closet, he opens it up to hang up his clothing, and he sees challah and wine and kosher food. He's completely confused. He thinks he's dreaming. He really doesn't believe this has really happened. He eats the food. He doesn't even ask any questions. It's all kosher. He sees all the labels there. He forgets about it. 6 months later, he's in Deal, New Jersey at a simcha. He's at a party, and he hears someone talking, and they're like, well, you know, David, he got sick, he got the appendicitis, and, well, we ended up leaving to the hotel, to the hospital, because we didn't want to stay with a doctor we didn't know in Memphis. He's like, excuse me, what hotel was that? He goes, I was there that weekend. I ate your food. What are the chances that the guy's going to end up meeting the person that... Do you realize the odds? Plus Memphis, I don't know about you guys, don't kill me. I don't know a lot of people that go to Memphis. I just don't know them. I don't know them. Nothing against Memphis. I've been to Memphis, it's a beautiful place. So the odds of two people from New York going to Memphis, ending up in the same hotel, it's close to nil. But again, you're not going to see God sit there and go, oh my God, he's hungry, he's keeping my commandments, I'm going to bless him. He can't do it in an open way. So God has to do it in a hidden way. I guess that's basically it. I think that what it gets down to with all of these celebrities and all these stars is that God is everywhere. You have to go and look for God. Could you imagine for a second if a guy went around and said, and this is regardless of what your political affiliation is, but if someone walked around and goes, I don't believe in Trump, I don't see him anywhere, I've never seen him. If you want to go see the president, first of all, what are the odds that you're going to go to see the president? We walk around, I would believe in God if this. Well, if he would only do that, then I would believe in God. What exactly, who are we to make such a request to God? And secondly, God is telling you, you know what? You don't have to make that request. Look around you, whether it's in the physical world. How about the fact of how a person is born? Has anyone here ever witnessed childbirth? I know I have. You have, right? Guys, it's very simple. I'm not going to get into all the details, but here's this much I can tell you. You have a human being that is submerged in liquid. It is breathing a liquid oxygen. The lungs on this preborn child is breathing liquid. It is getting its nourishment through a thin tube. In one fell swoop, the child is born, and the lungs completely change within a few coughs and cries. It's a completely different existence where the very liquid that was sustaining the life of this child, it would no longer work. It would actually drown the child. Now it needs oxygen. It's a complete miracle. How do these people not see God? I don't know. It's beyond me. I don't know how you can't see God. Does anyone have any questions? Very good, thank you. And again, I promise you next week you guys will have